Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Noel. If you're not familiar with Noel, he is a damage dealer that specializes in breaking and unbreaking targets, so he just breaks like constantly. He has a very powerful EX. His BT and FR make it possible for him to be spouting off his EX all the time, right? Now, the one thing I will say about Noel that I'll just like kind of talk about right off the bat, because I'm not going to be able to show it, he does have an infinite combo with Core. You may have heard of this, but I'll just say right now his BT effect makes it so that all of your other party members will unbreak and then they will break when they attack, right? So the way this works and why I can't show it off is I don't have Noel's BT, right? Now, if I go in here and find a friend unit with it, we maybe can do a quick little video of it. But essentially, like the way Core works is that he will do his follow-up before the enemy's turn if the enemy's targeting someone with Oath of Absolute Defense or his own buff, right? His own buff on himself. So what happens is let's say there's like, you know, we have like enemy A and enemy B, right? And I don't know if I'm doing this in the right order by the camera, but whatever. This is enemy A and this is enemy B. So what happens, you have Noel's BT effect up, right? Enemy A is about to attack, but Core will preemptively strike and thus breaks him behind enemy B. Now it's enemy B's turn. And enemy B now will attempt to attack, but Core's going to attack before their turn. Core breaks them behind enemy A. Now it's a new enemy A turn. Core is going to break enemy A, put them behind, and it's essentially an infinite loop. You have to, though, have an enemy that you can break behind the other one to instantly give the other enemy a turn, and they just keep looping back and forth. And so it is an infinite core cheese strat you can do. So if you're interested in cheese strats, then Noel could be a good character to pick up for that. I'm personally not a fan of like doing that type of cheese, but you definitely can do it. But we'll talk about just some other characters that he can work with, and even in just like a normal setting, if you're not trying to do the cheese, he can still be good with some of these off-turn characters that we'll talk about, right? So let's get into it. Let's talk about his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres, and then we'll do a little demo and kind of show what he's looking like, right? His calls, I think the only thing notable about these calls is that they can like unbreak and break enemies, right? But other than that, they're just buffs to the caller. And there's no HP damage up. It's just like attack, max brave, brave damage, like just pretty standard stuff. So I really wouldn't worry about his calls unless you want like an on-demand break. But yeah, they're definitely better calls you can go for. And then in terms of artifacts, right? So if we go into his artifact passives, you want to go attack 108 and then Man from the Future boost 2-star, which is going to be a double attack up. Now, the thing with Noel is he does have like one of the higher attack stats in the game. So if you wanted to dabble and like go with a little bit of max brave or something else, you definitely could do that. But like brave damage is the thing you really want on Noel. And unfortunately in artifacts, you don't really get brave damage here. So we just kind of do attack because that's what you would do for an attacker anyways. So you might as well just go attack here. And then maybe on the spheres, then you can maybe go away from attack and go more towards brave damage, right? So if we go to the spheres, I'm going to say this right now. My spheres for him are not optimal other than I think the E slot is. So on the A slot, unfortunately, had I known back in the day, I put his own on him, and his is a fantastic sphere, but it's way better used, I feel like, on other characters. So when you attack a character that is broken, which is like all the time, you get a 15% attack up, which is insane. On Noel, because his attack is so high, we're going to give him all that attack on the artifacts. You really want to focus brave damage, right? So something like Edgar could be really good. I think Gao has a good brave damage one, right? But I would just go full brave damage spheres on him and not even do attack for A slot. But I'm obviously not going to just like put something over the sphere. If I had slot removers, I probably would take that off, right? D slot, once again, for some reason back in the day, I threw Baron on there. It's just a max brave up. Not the craziest. So on D slot, you want to do like one of the party attack ups. So your Ash, Saz, Lise, Hope, like Cissnei, like all those normal D slots I talk about. I would avoid Waka. I would avoid Luna Freya because he can't hit those triggers as consistently. But yeah, just something with party attack and you're fine there. And then on the E slot, I'm a big fan of Vanille. I know not everybody is, and this is going to be your preference, but I feel like Vanille was built for a character like Noel. Anytime you break an enemy, you dispel a buff off the enemy. To me, which I think is awesome. Now, the reason why some people don't like it as much is being able to dispel buffs off the enemy isn't maybe as integral to the game as it used to be. But I like having it. I like knowing that it's there. That if the enemy throws down a really nasty buff on themselves, that I have a way to dispel it without putting a dedicated dispeller in the party. I just feel like on all of these instant break, re-break characters, like putting Vanille there if I can, to me is just so good. It's like what her sphere is meant for. Now, if you don't like Vanille, then you might just throw like a poison, or like you could do a Fujin speed down or something like that. Or if you want to give him more attack, you can give him more attack. But I think you're going to get more use out of putting like an interesting debuff or Vanille on him. But I think Vanille's best in slot personally. Not everybody's going to agree with me on that, but I'm a huge Vanille sphere fan. I think she's one of the best spheres in the game, and it was made for a character like this, so that's why I'm going to throw it down. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and hop in. Let me just see on the friends list, is there a Noel with BT here? Because if there is, I might toss Corin like right now and try it. I doubt there will be, though. He's not going to be a popular friend unit. If somebody on my friends list at some point wants to set him, I would be willing to maybe do a separate video showing the core cheese. But for now, we'll just kind of roll with it. So we'll do Aerith because I do want a little bit more ramp here. We'll also have double Aerith going. Now, I am going to bring with a Dorgan, right? So obviously, a character like Dorgan's really going to benefit from anybody that lets you spam break, like Sephiroth, like Noel. Now, you're not going to see it as, you know, insanely with mine, because once again, a lot of it revolves around the BT giving the whole party that ability. But Noel himself, he's going to be breaking a lot, right? So Dorgan, let's just go ahead and we'll just make sure the enemies aren't going to do anything too crazy here. We'll get Rydia up right away. Sure. All right, and then we'll go ahead and throw down an LD. Why not? Perfect. And then we got the Image Slash. All right, now we've got Noel. So what I would do with Noel is I do think opening with the LD is probably a good idea. So let's go ahead and hit that. This is called Big Bang. Big Bang. So let's just see what his damage looks like here. He does get a follow-up, by the way. All right, and then a double follow-up from Dorgan. So after all is said and done, it's weird. Like, the damage got interrupted, so it was really hard to see what his damage looked like. But I'm sure he did over a mil there, right? So on the LD, it unbreaks and breaks all the enemies, so it's just free instant break, right? AoE Brave, full HP attack 5 times. He's going to get a free ability use on his next turn. He's going to get a buff called Hunter of Light, and then he's going to get another buff called Light Hunter at 3 stacks, okay? And then the Hunter of Light buff, the big thing with that is it gives him a follow-up after he breaks a target. So when he breaks, he gets a follow-up, and then Dorgan also follows up. So if you have Dorgan in the party, it's like you're getting it twice. So I know there are a lot of Dorgan fans out there. So if you are a Dorgan fan, like, this is a great character to get, right? So this Hunter of Light is going to be an attack up, brave damage up, HP damage up, and then an additional HP damage up if it's a broken enemy, and it triggers his additional on breaks, okay? So the reason why you want to do it is because these buffs you're going to get those up right away. Last Hunter is going to be an attack and max brave up, and then a defense up, and then based on the stacks, which if you hit the LD, you're going to get that at 3 stacks right away, which is the max stack. So we like that. Aerith, let's do normal Aerith start here. We'll go ahead and Holy. And once again, we know how these enemies are going to roll, right? Like, they're going to just get into their force or whatever. Which is fine. Noel isn't geared on, like, insane buffs. So, like, their force time and me only getting, like, 1 turn on the buff, that won't really kill Noel. I suppose if his Hunter of Light, like, ran out, I guess it could. But we'll try to put ourselves in a position where that's not going to happen. Let's Healing Wind. And what I might do, we might just go crazy. And let me just Mega Ramp here and see if we can't just, like, speed into it, huh? And then we are going to show off Noel's force in this video and see what it kind of looks like. But yeah, let's just ramp all the way up. See if we can't beat these guys. If it works out to where I can ramp to maybe like 96% and then give Dorgan his quick turn and hopefully the enemies won't get there, we'll see. Could be a tight window, right? And what I can do is Aerith can pass turn with Prayer of the Cetra, assuming she doesn't jump turns, which she kind of likes to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Prayer of the Cetra right now. So she can just jump right now while I'm still ramping. And then I can do it again, and she shouldn't get as big of a jump here. So I think, I kind of want to jump now, but I'm going to need 2 ramps. We're going to do a Healing Wind and then Prayer of the Cetra. It's going to put us there. The enemies might still get to force. We'll see Prayer of the Cetra down, and that should pass turn. Yep. All right. This is about as perfect as it is, but the enemies, they're going to get their force. So I actually have it right now, but I don't want to do Dorgans. I want to do Noel's, so... we'll just hit this, and the enemies, they're going to hit force time, which is fine. And I think this is non-elemental magic damage, which we don't have in the party. So they're just going to be enforced, and we're just going to live with it. That's fine. That's fine. We lose Aerith BT. Not a big deal. This isn't like an optimal. We're going to have the friend Aerith BT anyways to back it up. So we're actually okay with that. We are actually okay with that. We're going to get her BT back. Just keep in mind the numbers we're seeing on Noel. Now it's going to be without Dorgan BT. It's going to be without his BT. So we're seeing like a lot less BT buffs on it, right? But while we have it, I suppose we can do this AA, which is Shaving Slash. Oh, so it's going to gravity him down basically to 0, and then he's going to break him. So it's a really good Brave Shave AA if you want to do that. Because it'll full gravity them down to 0. So if you get in one of those situations where the enemies are like, oh, you can't deal Brave damage, you're only dealing 1s, it's a great way to make sure you can shave them down to 0. So having that gravity, I think, is very good. And that's going to be an attack Brave damage limit up for 6 turns. Not a bad AA at all. I know we haven't shown much of his skills yet, but we're going to go into FR. And then we'll just kind of go through from there. With Gladio, that is so hype there with Gladio. Gladio is my boy. All right, we got a few breaks going on there. A lot of breaking, and we're getting the Hunter follow-ups. So yeah, 2.6 mil, like that hit pretty heavy actually. And then once you got Dorgan coming in, Dorgan's breaking them like crazy. Dorgan's going insane over here. All right, let's talk about the FR now that we hit that button. So it breaks all enemies instantly, no matter what their Brave is. It unbreaks them after every HP attack. That's why you saw so many breaks there, and the enemies just getting pushed back to oblivion. During the force time, party HP and damage limit is increased during broken enemies. And the party unbreaks target before attacks. Oh, I thought that was from the BT. Hold on, let me double check here. Oh, it's from the FR, so I actually can show this off with core. Okay, I mistook that. I thought it was on the BT, but it's on the FR. So we could do the core cheese. So I might make like a short, like second video, and we'll just show the core cheese to you guys. So it's actually from the FR, not the BT. That's my bad. So yeah, so the party will unbreak before attacks, which is really good. And this is really nice because his FR conditions, 40% for a melee attack and 40% for breaking. So if you're bringing melee characters like Dorgan, like Core, like they're going to be ticking the gauge like crazy. You're going to be breaking nonstop. Actually can be kind of fun, right? All right, so now I've got this Aerith here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just ramp into some big numbers. Let's do that. That is my bad. That's actually way better that it's on the FR than the BT. Because then that way, if you have them FR only, you're ensure you have all the breaking for the HP conditions. Now, the BT does do something very important to Noel's damage specifically, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay. And I specifically brought Bahamut Summon to kind of simulate what'll happen during his BT. But we'll get into that. All right, let's bring in the friend Aerith. And now we're going to get our BT effect back. So we are going to ramp twice. Now these ramps aren't going to be very good on Noel. The one bad part, right, is that his condition requires attacking. So it's not a good one to echo with Aerith. But once again, if you're bringing a full melee squad and you're swinging all the time, it's going to be very good for on-turn echoing for sure. For like attacking and getting that. Because if you do melee attack echoes, you're getting 100%. That's awesome. 100% on a melee attacking echo is very good. So like we can echo with Dorgan and we should get that, right? Holy right here. So we'll drop that Holy down. And then I kind of want to get my gauge as high as I can, and we'll do a little Bahamut Noel break cheese. But you can see if the enemies are breakable and delayed from break, like we're pushing them back into oblivion. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So yeah, let's go ahead and do an echo. This should be like 100%. And then, you know, Dorgan loves this because he's going to be going crazy. And he's breaking on everything. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Image slash, breaking. And then you should get it again. Yes. Now, if the image slash like rebroke, then that would be an infinite combo. So they don't allow you to do that. We don't have EX up yet. We do have Enacro Call, so I think Noel is the type of character like, let's say you were in his BT, but you didn't have his BT effect. So let's say you're someone that got the BT, but you couldn't green it. Enacro Call could be good on him, because you could go into his BT, have that call up, and they have a 20% chance to keep refreshing the EX. Normally what you would do with Noel, though, is you green him, You would have his BT effect up and then go into the burst phase, and then his EX, what it does, or his BT, it makes it so his EX charges really fast, so you can spam it. Okay. So Aerith, what do you want to do with you? I think Seal Evil sounds good. And even Aerith with magic damage, she's going to be breaking. Yep. So she's still going to get 40% on that. Sure, we'll take that. So here, while I'm thinking about it, let me just... And look at Dorgan going crazy. Yeah. While I'm thinking about it, let's talk about the BT, since I can't have it and I can't show it to you. His BT does ignore defense. It does make sure his EX goes to max when you use it. And then his EX recast is 100%. So his EX is going to be nonstop. You just spam it when you have the BT up. So if you're planning to use Noel as your main DPS, you do want to green him so that you can have that going into his burst phase, right? Any free ability use he has, he gets an HP damage limit up on that. He gets Brave damage limit up versus broken enemies. He gets Brave damage up, HP damage up, and HP damage limit up, which are more like the normal BT buffs, right? So let's do a little bit of shenanigans here with Noel. So we've got his yeah, well, we'll use his EX while we have it. So let's just do that right now. So this is Meteor Javelin. This is one of his Big Daddy damage attacks. This is the button you want to hit a lot. Let's just see how much damage this does at 700%. We get the follow-up as well. All right, so 12 mil there. With 18 on the side? Now, I think that could have been split. But it was a lot of damage. So, the EX, it unbreaks. It's a 9 HP dump that ignores defense. And then it does refresh his Will to Seize the Future buff. So that Will to Seize the Future is an attack, Max Brave, and Overflow stolen up, Brave stolen up, and then a party attack and Max Brave up. Now remember, our buffs are kind of getting gimped here, so buffs are going to be falling off because of this FR effect of the enemies. We're going to go ahead and do this. All right, well, look for, I'll do just like maybe a very short video and just show the core cheese with him, right? We might just pop into this fight and try it. Or I could just go into like a Lufenia fight so I can just ramp quick and then just show it off. We might do that. Let's go ahead and see it leave. You know what? Maybe rather than do a separate video, should we just try it here? And just put it at the end of this video? Maybe. We'll make it a separate video because I want to make sure I do it properly. Like, I don't want to be like on here and if I do something wrong and I want to be like, oh, what did I do wrong? Whatever. Yeah, I'll record it separately. We'll just do it as a separate video, I think. All right. So now what we could do is we could say, put this out, and then this would kind of simulate if his BT effect were up, he would be able to just keep spamming the EX, right? So now let's go ahead and we can hit it again. So Meteor Javelin. And this is without launching, right? See, I'm not sure if it's adding these together or if they're separate. 32 mil, I got to feel like that's all of it together, right? So he did 32 mil there, which is pretty good. And then we get 6 mil from Dorgan following up. That's not bad. That is not bad. And once again, just breaking him back into oblivion. But yeah, if you like these break characters, this is a character you definitely can do a lot of shenanigans with. Once again, you've got a core infinite combo. Let's go ahead and do the EX here. Sure, we'll bring Noel up. Yeah, now we're going to get back-to-back Noel turns. We can just spam off a couple of EXs there. I probably, though, here's the thing. I've got EXs, but I haven't even gone over. I probably got to do his 35. Actually, we haven't done his 15 or his 35, have we? We probably should do those. So let's hit Galfang. Actually show you his other attacks, right? But the EX is what you'd want to hit here. All right, so we did 8 mil there on the 35. Sure, that's solid. And then Dorgan pop in. So Galfang, very simple. It just unbreaks and breaks the target. And it is an instant break. He gets the Last Hunter buff for 2 turns. And that's that stacking one that we got right away from the LD at 3 stacks. And then Tempest Strike. Okay, what did we get there? About 7 mil with a little bit of splash on it. Once again, unbreaks. And then Last Hunter buff stack. Plus, so it just, they give you Last Hunter stacks. Once again, if you use the LD, you're going to have that right away. So these are pretty much filler attacks, but just make sure the 35 is when you need that instant break. The 15 will unbreak them, but it's not guaranteed to break unless you do enough Brave damage, but usually you will. All right, what are we going to do here with Dorgan? Sure, we'll just do this. And we're dealing ones, but it doesn't matter. So we can just break them like crazy. Let's go ahead. We kind of want to get into another turn here. We'll Fury Brand. Get one more Noel turn. And let me see. I did the LD 1535. We did the EX. We talked about the B team. We did the FR. So we have seen everything on Noel at this point. So we will end it with an EX. Oh, our force time's over, by the way. My bad. Wasn't even looking at that, but sure. We'll do an EX. Let's see what the EX does with normal damage. So outside of FR, this can give us a gauge as to like the kind of damage we're doing. Although I think we're doing ones for Brave damage. But yeah, with the little launch, what do we get on this? What do we got? 2.5 mil. And I think it normally would be more than that. Once again, our Brave damage is heavily hindered here. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Noel. He's definitely a cool, fun character. If you like the break strategies, you might like to get him. Let me know if you summon this guy. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.